Oh yeah, the typewriter. They have. Look at what the typewriters look like on this thing, in this universe. Yeah, isn't that just quaint? It dings when you run out of space. Oh gosh. Any more than this one? Yes. Coin of 5. And I guess the smallest coins are just called coin. It's not like coin of 1, coin of 2. Letter to Laura. Laura, don't tell me my business. My family's been at this game for a long time, and I'm not acting alone. Currently, I have several friends working on similar pamphlets aimed at further turning public opinion against Emily Caldwin and her cursed royal protector. Lady Brambley is calling hers a bastard daughter. That ought to light them up at court, Nathan. Bettenbridge is nearly finished with prosecution for Corvo Attano. I'm giving consideration to releasing my own as, should Parliament rule, a modest proposal. Yes, I know she's the Empress, but eventually she'll bow under the weight that we will bring down upon her. First, the gentry here in Dunwall, then the Parliament, finally the other Isles. By early next month, look for these works plastered on the walls here in the capital city. But if you're abroad, you'll see them in Dubakva, Alba Karnaka, Kalkeni, and Yoro as well. I have friends all over, Laura. Don't let it slip your mind for a second. Boyle. Which Boyle? But I am happy to hear this. Apologies for theft, but I'm going to need this.
We've got to get away. I should talk to the captain of that ship.
What? What am I supposed to do now?
Not my concern, citizen.
Not my concern, my foot. Either you help her or I'm gonna help myself to your nards.
That's it for my shop. The entire month will be ruined.
Trust me, you don't want to be out on the streets right now. Move along.
That's all they ever say, isn't it? They don't feel like answering any questions. You don't want to be out on the street right now. Well, why not? Because of the Crown Killer? You're not getting away that easy.
Special edition. Empress Delilah Caldwin, rightful heir to the throne, has taken power in Dunwall. The usurper, Emily Attano, and the murderous royal protector have been arrested.
Get out of here.
You have until tomorrow to print it.
I never should have listened to your rubbish.
Don't make a pig's ear of this, printer. I'm the one who gave you the scoop on the Crown Killer.
Half of which couldn't be verified. I must have been rat-ass out of my mind to use that name. There's no proof that the murderer has any connection to the Crown.
Well, it made a good story. Served a purpose.
Whatever's going on, this coup, it won't last. The people of Bristol are loyal to the Empress, and I'm gonna publish an essay every day for a month to make sure they remember it.
The people of Bristol have a new Empress. And in the morning, they'll have to find a new printer, too.
Only adult would threaten the man who runs a newspaper.
Time to put you out of business, printer.
Help! No. Huh? What? Guards! Someone!
Traitorous dog.
That man, part of the Duke's coup, I'm sure of it now. And I saw him talking to Captain Ramsey of the City Watch.
You weren't the only one fooled. But I never ordered those killings.
I know that. It was irresponsible of me to print the name Crown Killer. I allowed myself to be coerced. Forgive me.
You're forgiven. I'm not sure what happens next, but protect yourself. And when the time is right, tell people the truth.
You can count on it. I won't ask you what your plans are, but for the sake of Dunwall and for the Empire itself, I hope you succeed.
Me too. Note from the chief editor, Kent. Don't take it personally, but I'm not publishing your story about mechanical soldiers down in Karnaca. I'm not questioning your sources of your writing, but some moonstruck natural philosopher making marionettes in his basement isn't really news. I've done some research on this Kieran Dinjosh you mentioned. He was driven out by the Academy of Natural Philosophy years ago, so he's hardly a credible threat. Until one of his inventions actually kills someone, he's not worthy of our ink. You should focus on the Crown Killer case instead. If the Imperial family is really ordering those murders, I want us to be the ones who expose it. Simon. You must be Simon, then.
No, he's clearly Kent.
You do look like a Simon. And I do not mean that with disrespect. It's just an observation.
Well, that's not his name, so.
Woes. Plague. Bila guarded Dunwall. Dunwall's troubles have multiplied of late, calling into question the very efficiency and intentions of our Empress. As evidence that Emily Caldwin has forsaken us, we need look no further than Redshore Financial, more commonly called the Flooded District. Though recently drained, we dare not celebrate, as the area is still riddled with maintenance problems, remaining from its time underwater. With so many unable to find work, would this not be the perfect moment to unveil a grand scheme to restore this once posh area? Alas, no further considerations have been proposed, nor has the Empress submitted solutions for the current whale oil shortage. Even as we endure rationing and discomfort, the picture of incompetent leadership is completed when you add to all this the periodic accidental citizen deaths at the hands of the Dunwall City Watch. And while Captain Mortimer Ramsey, appointed by our Empress, maintains the perfect innocence of those men and women in uniform who are supposed to protect us.
The Dunwall Courier will not be silenced. I'm so sorry for my involvement in all this. I was misled. They claimed they had evidence, and then they bullied me. I'm going into hiding for a few days. You should do the same. This newspaper has a reputation to uphold after I rebuild it. As soon as it's safe, I'm going to start a series of pamphlets.
Is that usually what people do when they're smoking a pipe? They bang it up against their shoe? I wouldn't know. I don't smoke. Oh, crap.
First the shortage of whale oil, then the murders. Now what's ever going on tonight?
Maybe I should hire my own bodyguard. I don't feel safe anymore.
Well, you look rich enough. You can probably pay for it.
Might be time to visit my aunt in Freeport. Things are a
Heard
mess
fighting
there.
between some of the guards earlier. This is bad.
Somebody's seen something. Now we're all on edge. My heart can't take much more of this. I don't feel safe. What is wrong with this
I'd pay
city?
my taxes.
A lot of
and
things.
All the fees. I'd pay bribes too if it meant the roads weren't blocked off. You seem a bit travel-worn, dear. Maybe a good bath is in order.
You up for
Amen.
year later?
Some kind of
not
trouble
this time.
in this part of town? Honestly, why can't they keep all that riffraff in a separate place?
Who knows?
It's been hard getting any business done here in Dunwall. That's all about to change. The city
The Hatter Gang. Damn them.
Oh man, you remember those guys?
Whatever the Royals are fighting about, can't make it easier for them.
That's what I'm saying. We need a network of shops selling contraband, just like they've got down in Sarkonis. People are getting rich in Colero and Karnaca, even after...
Get out of here, you eels! You're not a real gang.
Set up some black market shops, pass along whatever we score, and we run security for the shopkeepers.
Right, and we take a cut on the sales. I'm telling you, the wind is blowing in our favor for once.
Honestly, from what I could tell, the Hatter gang were a bunch of chumps, and the Dead Eels were where it's at. The Dead Eels were the real gang. Hatters were just trying to be cool. Okay. Yes, sir. It is really good to know that as soon as they see me, it's not the end of the world. That thing is also designed better in this game.
Someone there?
People of Dunwall. Hey, I'll check around here.
I'll help you look around.
Here. Let's check the place just in case.
Okay. Reaction bolt. Yeah, that's it. I'll call it that.
I wonder what I'm dealing with.
You're dealing with a bad bitch. Uh-oh. A bad bitch who hides because she doesn't want to lose.
Keep your eyes peeled. No luck. Nothing damaged.
Peel your own eyes, old man. Here, pal. You get to stay on the beach. Order to clear the docks. Corporal Blevins. I won't tolerate any more questions. Send all boats away from the docks. Tell them it's for the anniversary of the death of our beloved Empress Jessamine. Threaten to seize their vessels. I don't care. Just clear the docks. And according to the morning patrol, there was a woman here earlier who refused to leave. She captains the Terrible Whale, or Dreadful Whale, some other rubbish. She was asking for an audience with the Royal Protector. If you see her, I want her arrested immediately. You have your orders, Blevins. And trust me, you don't want to make trouble right now. Mortimer Ramsey.
Captain Ramsey's been so industrious, but I need a ship.
Whatever you need, I can't help you. I missed the time when I could go to sleep without wondering if I'd wake up.
What am I going to do? Something's going on at Dunwall Tower all across this cursed city. Where are you, Corvo Atano?
You'll have to make do without him.
You want to hear what I've got to say. I guarantee it. Lady Emily, you won't get far with that face. Stamped on half the coins in the city.
There's a coup underway, and I'm being blamed for the Crown Killer murders. I don't care what my face looks like.
My name's Megan Foster. I work with an old ally of yours, Anton Sokolov. We learned something scary down in the south, and I came to warn you.
I know, Anton, but Corvo's gone. The Duke of Serkonos is here with a woman named Delilah. They massacred everyone in the throne room. Then she did something I can't explain. There was nothing to do but run.
Sometimes that's all you can do. This is my ship, the Dreadful Whale. We can head out as soon as you're ready.
I need to get to Karnaca where the Crown Killer murders started. Delilah must have been down there for a while, and I've got to figure out what's going on.
You're Corvo's daughter. I'll give you that. Should we go?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I'm ready.
How we do? Definitely non-lethal, but stealth could be a little bit better. I was definitely detected 3 times. There are no runes, outsider shrines, or bone charms to get, but I did get both paintings, so that's good. No blueprints to worry about, and I still didn't get every single coin. Dang it. I don't know where they are. Sorry. Strange visit. Something feels off. Find out what's going on.
Am I still aboard Megan's ship? Feels odd.
Oh. Guess I can't go that way.
What is this place? Where am I?
I have no idea what this is. Definitely an image.
I can feel something moving closer. Watching.
Something. Or someone.
Empress Emily Caldwin. I am a friend of your father's from the bad old days. I never expected us to meet. I watched your mother die at the hands of schemers who wanted your little empire. Then you were rescued by a man in a strange mask. I thought that was the end of the excitement. But someone yanked the rug from under your feet. You've lost your throne and your father. And I promise, Delilah won't just give them back. So, what are you prepared to do about it? Your Imperial Majesty? And are you clever enough to do it without spilling a river of blood? I asked Corvo those questions 15 years ago. This is the moment that changed him. Now it's your turn.
That's not the exact question you asked, though. No powers mode? I think it's time. Playing without powers. Let's go for it. I've played this game so many times with the powers. It's time to do something different.
No. Whatever you're offering, I can make my own way.
Another surprise. So be it.
All the stories, they're true.
She looked agitated there, which is odd. And that's just one of the things that irks me about this game, is the outsider. The way he's written. The way he's directed. It feels off. This is not the same outsider we encountered in the first game.
Corvo mentioned being here once.
Know you. Do you remember? It's been so long, and you've been through so much. Even as an echo of myself, it's good to know you're there.
Mother? You're here, but you're not here. In my hand, but somewhere else.
Only the last of my essence, with you for a while. If only I could reach across this great expanse and take you into my arms. But I have this to offer. My gift and my curse. Summon me to your hand, and I will guide you when I can.
But there are still runes to find, and bone charms, I imagine. It's nice that we have the heart again. The void gaze that I used as Dowd was nifty, for sure. But holding this heart with clock parts in it,
Really? How could she?
such an
I
image.
don't understand.
Look at that, the runes are much bigger in this game.
There's no one quite like Delilah. I watched her pull herself up from blood and filth until she was in a position to steal from the wisest scholars in the Empire.
Nobody else has ever tried that before?
Survival and ambition, art and magic, with a cunning that makes fun and sycophants of those around her, all of it leading to what you saw at Dunwall Tower.
Right.
Delilah's playing the long game. She took all the abuse the world could deal out, and now she has a crown. But
She was patient and persistent. I'll give her that.
Set on a much greater prize.
What could be greater than the crown? Godhood? Meet with Megan and discuss a plan of action before taking the skiff to Karnaca.
When I was 10 years old, bored with my lessons, I dreamed about sword fighting and sailing the ocean.
That does sound more
now
fun.
I'm realizing that the world is stranger than I ever imagined. Everything I know has been turned on its head, but I'm dealing with it the best I can. When you look at the great jeweled map at Dunwall Tower, Karnaca is the southernmost port in the Empire. A fat, red ruby. That's how I always thought of it. Up close, the city smells like the ocean and strange spices. Up close, it's a tangled story of blood and ambition. The birthplace of my father. Megan Foster is a stranger, but there's something that makes me want to trust her, despite her guarded disposition. She got me out of Dunwall, and I need answers. Delilah and the Duke made me look like a murderer, using the Crown Killer to butcher my political adversaries. They took what was mine, and I'm gonna get it back.
It's nice to see these comic-style panelings again, too. Just like with the graphics, though, they're so much more clean, refined. I don't remember the ones in the first game having that movement, though. And it just adds to the overall feel of the game. A letter from me. Wyman, by now you must have heard about the coup in Dunwall. Don't worry, I'm safe. Hiding far away with friends. I implore you, don't try anything reckless, and don't go back to Crystal. Stay in Morley. There's nothing you can do against Delilah. I can't say I have a solid plan yet, but you know how well I improvise in desperate situations. Remember the time I kept a straight face during the watch officer's reports, all while sitting at my desk without pants? If I survive that, I'll get through all of this. For now, I need to stay hidden and act alone. Trust me, we'll see each other again. I promise. Emily. I'm gonna read this too. We're starting a new year. Maybe 1852 will be less boring than 1851. I can't wait for Wyman to get back to Dunwall. We'll go to the abandoned mansion I discovered the other night at the edge of Rudshore. Maybe I'll have time to turn it into a scary haunted house beforehand, using sheets and hiding an old audiograph upstairs. Wyman would love that. We'll get spooked and hold hands, screaming and laughing. Come on, Emily. You promised to be more serious and listen to court, and you're already planning your next escape. Let's start this diary again. Proposals for a new decree on whale oil rationing and distribution. The anniversary. The time of year again. Anniversary of my mother's death. There's no real time for reflection, though it's all security protocols. Menus, guest lists, and it's impossible to slip out tonight. I feel like a caged bird. They've already got me memorizing this year's speech. It's endless. Would it be so terrible if I just said what I remembered about her? That wink she gave me, even as she was scolding me after I was caught climbing the statue of my grandfather. The sound of her footsteps as she paced at night. That time we shared a cabin on the boat trip to Driscoll. or the time she agreed to let Corvo teach me how to fish, but then had to pull a hook from my arm. Now that would be a speech. And now this one. Dishonored. My father is lost, turned to stone by Delilah. Those words don't even seem real. Witchcraft. Something I never would have believed possible. But now I have to believe it. So I can believe that it can be undone. Delilah claims to be my aunt, the rightful heir. Truth or lie? All I know is that she used magic to take my throne, aided by that weasel Duke Bell. They must have been working on their plan for years, buying disloyalty with promises. Even Ramsey captained the City Watch, planting in everyone's mind the idea that my father and I could be responsible for these monstrous killings. The one, or both of us, were the crown killer. I'm not in a trusting mood, but Megan Foster says she knows Anton Sokolov, our old royal physician, and she helped me escape the coup. So she's all I have right now. We're sailing for Serkonos. My Dunwall, my home, is no longer safe for me. But it never really was safe. I never really will be. The sooner I get that through my skull, the better. The Void. This time, it wasn't a dream. I read about the Void and the Outsider. Imagined them. Now I've seen these wonders for myself. Strange doesn't begin to cover it. The Outsider has terrible eyes. Black on black. He offered me a gift. I've read enough stories to know these things always come with a price. Still, I was tempted, but then I thought, would Jessamine Caldwin have taken it? No. Then neither will Emily Caldwin. I can do this without help. How would you know? Jessamine never visited the Outsider. Maybe she would have taken it, so it could make things easier. But his other gift I couldn't refuse. Just as I was thinking of her, I heard my mother's beloved voice, trapped in the strangest contraption. It is both comforting and chilling to be able to talk to her again. Yet, it's not entirely the person I knew anymore. We arrived at the southernmost tip of the Empire. Strange fragrances in the air. Salt, fish, spice. I don't know how to blend in here. I don't know what to eat or where to go. But this is where my father was born. So part of me belongs here too. And these are my people. Or they were, until my throne was stolen by Delilah. No. I don't need the Outsider's gifts. But one thing I do need. A plan. Crossbow. It's not where you used to, living in a palace. But this is all the coin I could scrape up. Anton and I operated on a tight budget. And guess what? Now you do too. If it's not beneath you, pick up whatever valuables you find on along your way. We'll need ammo and resources to take down the people behind the coup. Hidden all over the city, there are underground black market shops. Look for a symbol depicting two hands, which means there's a shop nearby. Follow the signs, they'll guide you. Buying from the black market is against the law, but it could make the difference against the Duke's military. Sokolov was working on this crossbow as a gift for you. If you need it modified, these shops can help with that along the way. Maintenance list. Repair the things that got busted up at Anton's room when he was taken. It's been weeks now. No, scratch that. Not until I bring him back home. As a show of faith that he will be coming back. Unblock the storage door. Looks like something fell on the other side. And I really need to sell that stuff locked up there and make some coin. Pay the port tax and the look the other way fees to those Grand Guard bastards before they wonder who my passenger is this time. I'll do it when I get the money. I probably won't be needing solutions since I don't have any mana. Or do I? a reflection on my journey to the Pandician continent. Number 3. This is by Anton. At dawn, I set out with a group that foraged east and included 2 other natural philosophers and 4 crewmen. We used blades to clear the vegetation that grew thickly here, and slowly made our way away from the shore, up a steep incline. Our purpose was to gather samples of the natives' plants for our research journals. I found myself pressing leaves and stems between pages, and taking copious notes on several species of flora I surmised no human had ever set eyes on previously, when suddenly young Mr. Gravet from the academy began hopping about and screaming wildly. Chance had bade him pick an unfortunate place to step. Aggressive ant-like creatures swarmed him from below. So many in number were his tiny attackers that we quickly lost sight of him under their onslaught. We finally managed to pull Gravet from the insects, acquiring several painful welts where we had come to his aid. Mr. Gravet, however, was bitten or stung, as I would eventually discover, so many times he was barely recognizable. Swollen unto deformity over every inch of his person. Moaning like a sick bull, he expired before we could carry him back to the beach. Luckily, some of the creatures still clung to him, providing me with some precious samples. Okay, Anton, a man is dead. And that was what you were worried about? Alright, whatever. He's not normal.
Must be cursed. Daft old man, this is some shit. Back to that sick. What would we have done in the old days? All sharp metal and shadows, we'd say.
That does sound like a good deal.
You're up. When you're ready to talk, I'll tell you what I know.
I'm ready.
All right. You've explained part of it. But what were you and Sokolov doing here?
The old man loved Karnaka, but he'd caught wind of a conspiracy tied to the Crown Killer. He wanted to warn Corvo.
There are reports about tensions rising, corruption, street violence. I didn't give it much mind. Usually the local authorities resolve that sort of thing.
The new Duke has let things slide. But Sokolov concluded he might be the head of the conspiracy. He came in looking shocked, and if you've heard his after-dinner stories, you know that's unusual. We were going to set out for Dunwall, but something happened.
The Crown Killer.
Yes, the hatch ripped open and Sokolov screamed. All I caught was a glimpse of someone carrying him across the deck. I followed as long as I could, toward Addermeyer Institute. It's run by the alchemist Hypatia. Maybe the Duke is using a patient of hers, the Crown Killer.
Addermeyer. All right. I'll get inside. The Crown Killer has to be eliminated, and if the alchemist will cooperate, maybe I can learn something about what happened to Sokolov. Wish me luck.
If you need my luck, Sokolov's as good as dead. When you get done at the Institute, disable the watchtower. Once it's down, I'll bring the boat around. We'll take the skiff to the shore when you're ready.
Now that's a plan. What was Mortimer Ramsey doing in Karnaka? Good question.
Mortimer Ramsey. The Duke couldn't have pulled off the coup without someone inside the City Watch. I don't know Duke Luca Abel, but Corvo served under Luca's father, and said Theodanis was a good man.
But if he was a good man, then how's come Luca isn't? Well, some kids are just a bad egg.
Delilah. My aunt, if that's really true. She has a twisted way of looking at the world.
A lot of people do. She is not special.
This Dr. Hypatia, she seems to represent the good that's possible within the Empire. So the Crown Killer was a tool of the Duke's coup. The murders had a calculated effect. Sokolov seems so much older now.
Well, it has been 15 years. That's how time works.
It looks like the overland route to the Addermeyer Institute goes through the carriage station.
I mean, you're obviously older after those 15 years. But she does sound remarkably like a older Chloe Grace Moretz. Sokolov's notes. Bloodfly study. I've wondered whether I have another book in me. The bloodfly epidemic, coupled with basic information on life cycle and behavior, might make an excellent project for this old natural philosopher. Bloodflies are exotic insects, unlike anything else we found in Circonus. I suspect they originated on the Pandician continent. In groups of 3 or fewer, they are harmless. Individuals won't attack, leading me to speculate that each emits scent that has a collective effect on larger numbers of bloodflies. They're attracted to rapid movement and sound. Their nests can be broken apart, scattering the swarm, and in particular, the nests are quite susceptible to fire. The insects require fresh corpses to lay their eggs, which hatch in breathtaking fashion at a very short amount of time. More corpses in Zirconian City, say during a crisis or plague, mean more bloodflies. Interestingly, in the last part of a bloodfly's life cycle, they calm a great deal. Leaving the swarm, they molt, causing the wings to drop off. Afterward, each bloodfly lives a solitary existence. Very odd. Bloodflies are largely restricted to the south, preferring warmer climates, like certain aging natural philosophers. Oh, and here's the first one about his journey to Pandysia. A colleague of mine owns a stunning map of the known world, adorned with curlicues and sea beasts. It is cherished spot over her mantle. She paid handsomely for it, and was so bristled when I enumerated the various errors, chief among them, of course, the size and placement of the Pandician continent. Oh, how cartographers are loath to show how small and distant our empire really is compared to that giant landmass, as if Pandysia were but a few days' journey from Aeron. Every veteran ship captain knows that it takes months to reach those shores. I had no doubt that Pandysia was rich in resources, but a place must be understood if we ever hope to exploit its myriad treasures. These were my thoughts as I agreed to join the ill-fated expedition. And so it was, on the 3rd day of the month of Earth, under calm gray skies, the great sea vessel Antonia Akio set sail with a captain, crew, researchers, and myself, 38 of us in total, for what would be the most terrifying and spiritually draining experience of my life. That sounds bad.
Dearest Emily, or must I say, your Imperial Majesty, I have something that you and Corvo must hear at the first opportunity. It concerns the murders happening across the Empire, committed by this so-called Crown Killer. When I left Crystal years ago, I swore I'd never again take part in any further political matters. I've done my share of bad things, and some good, before and after the Rat Plague. But here in Karnaca, I've uncovered a terrible conspiracy against you. Here, at the bottom of the Empire, the cobblestones smell of death and corruption. I'm staying with an associate, Megan Foster, aboard her vessel, the Dreadful Whale. We'll leave for Dunwall in the morning, as soon as the tides are willing. I keep thinking of the way sweet Jessamine was stolen from you and your father, and I fear it might be your turn to face such turmoil. I know Corvo would protect you with his life, but please do not trust anyone.
There you are, old man. I was asked to pay you a visit.
Wait, what's wrong with you? Megan!
Off we go, Sokolov, to somewhere more private.
So that's what Megan meant by when Sokolov was screaming. He was taken by the Crown Killer.
I'll always miss my lessons with Anton Sokolov. He made so many clever devices during my mother's time.
Yeah. Anton Sokolov's investigation notes. Investigation of what? Why can't an old man enjoy his last years in a warmer climate, with good wines and spicy foods, without stumbling into another nest of aristocrat vipers, eager to coil around the heart of this empire? Because something aristocracy, blah blah blah. As I've learned more each week for months now, I've found my mind turning over the movements beneath the surface here in Karnaca. Duke Luca Abel and some inner circle that even seems to include Captain Mortimer Ramsey of the Dunwall City Watch, a betrayal that boggles the mind. How many others are involved? They aim their venom at our dear Empress, young Emily. That much is certain. But when will they strike, and how? Do I dare spend another month gathering stray bits of esoteric information, linking it together with what we already know? Can we even afford another week? Or should Megan and I set out for Bristol tonight, taking this leaky tub up through the canal? Corvo will not hesitate. He will act as soon as I hand over what I know. And if I'm too hasty, it might be his undoing. Coming home to his native Sarkonos without some critical piece of knowledge about this affair. And then there's the Crown Killer to worry about. If that fiend is part of Duke Abel's schemes, as I suspect, how long until the dreadful whale catches the Duke's eye? Well, see, what I was thinking is that as soon as Anton started feeling suspicious about the goings-on of things inside Dunwall and outside of it, then maybe he could have sent us a letter or something? Now that I think about it a little bit more, Mortimer Ramsey was somebody on the inside. Who's to say there wasn't somebody else on the inside who intercepted letters, so to speak? Who's to say there wasn't somebody else in Dunwall who was checking letters just to be sure that nobody was warning Corvo and Emily beforehand? The Shindari Gift, a study by Emora Clipsworth. Wait, what is that? Shindari? On the effect of the winds on the Karnakan landmass and resulting economic positions. Whale oil. Liquid power. How astonishing that within these beasts, inside the oil harvested along with their flesh, was enough power to see the Isles through these tumultuous years. And it all seemed limitless, but now the lights begin to dim. Our fisher folks say the great beasts are increasingly rare. Not all places will suffer this loss equally. Fellow natural philosophers, Karnaca has a unique feature, the cleft in Shindari Peak, through which the winds are channeled and amplified, as whale oil begins to run short with the cost of finding the remaining leviathans escalating beyond the worth of oil itself. Karnaca will find itself ascendant among the Isles. I think is what it said. Some of these words still, I just don't know. It's not Piero's remedy anymore, it's Addermeyer's solution.
Dunwall seems so far away. I'll come back soon, Father. I promise.
Well, we're here, we might as well look at this whole thing. Okay, so Yarrow is a place in Tivia. There's Waegong, Samara, Pradim, Maya, Tamarak, Halton, and Dab Ogva. So yeah, I was thinking Anton Sokolov, that name sounds a tad Russian. So maybe that's what Tivia is based on, at least as far as names go. And Russia is also a pretty cold place, right? It's usually seen during snowfall. And then there's Morley. That's where Aaron and Kilkenny is. And Alba, Windown, Freyport. Or is it Fryport? Bristol has, as we know, Dunwall, which is the capital. Redmore, Driscoll, Old Lamprow, Bailton, Potterstead, Fulwick, and Whitecliff. Serkonos has Karnaca and Colero, but also Bastillion and Sagunto. All of those names, all of them sound like something that exists. It's wonderful. I didn't see Pandysia, though. Who is this goober? Dreadful Whale Accounting. 6th songs. Out 32 coins. Docking and late fee. M. Tallinger. What the heck does that mean? Ah, yes. There's a rune down in the water. As I had hoped.
Ain't this fun? Well, it's fun for me.
Sorry. Never again, Emily. Never again. But the runes are important, so I'll be sure to upgrade your breathing capacity.
Ready for me to drop you at the docks?
Yep.
Let's go see the streets where my father grew up.
Off we go then.
It won't do to be recognized.